Hello Gundam fans, this is Prime92, and today I'll be looking at the 1/100 Master Grade Build Gundam Mark II from the Gundam Build Fighter series. So this is the replacement for the Build Strike when it was badly damaged in the show, and it does show up a couple more times. A couple times at the end, which is good. I felt it needed more attention. And it is essentially the Gundam Mark II 2.0 Master Grade with the new forehead, crest, V-fin, chest, and vents. It does have a lighter blue, more richer blue than the actual 2.0 itself. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. You do have some foil stickers. You got the forehead camera, the eyes, back of the head, and that's really it for the body. You do have some detailing stickers, which are specific for the Build Mark II. And it does have the material hosing, like on the knees, and the ankles, and the backpack, and chrome-plated hydraulics for the ankles as well. So that's neat. And you do have all the parts to make the original Mark II, if you don't like how this guy looks. You get the old chest, the old vents, and the old V-fin. So you can make the original, because it's really not that big of a difference. And it still has an opening cockpit. I find it a little easier because of the bigger chest piece. Just pull it out, open it up, pull down the red piece, and you got the cockpit in there. And you do have the kind of generic pilot from the Mark II, because a couple of people did pilot it. And then Reggie is a new one. He's a little shorter. And you've also got the same floating guys, if you want to have them in some kind of a diorama in space. Ooh. So yeah, it's still as good as the Mark II. I still find the head is a little floppy. I thought, oh, is it the mold? But then when I got the Mark II, my original down, it's the same thing. So it has the same quality, the same tightness of joints, it seems. Yeah, it's the Mark II 2.0 with a few new pieces of armor. So, being just a slightly retooled Mark II 2.0, it's the same articulation. Head goes up and down, forward and back, rotates. Arms can go up and down, a little forward and back, rotate, go out, rotate below the shoulder, double jointed elbow, ball jointed wrist, ball jointed thumb, index finger. 3 fingers are together, but you can separate them. You have a ball jointed waist, or stomach, I should say. And then ball jointed front skirts, hinged side skirt. The legs have the hinge in the waist, where you can bring both of them together and snap them into place, so they'll be a little farther forward. And they will go forward, not much back, a little out, rotate the hip, a double jointed knee. Really like that separation. Very good. And there's a little bit of ankle movement up at the top. You can see how it moves there. And then, of course, you have the ball-jointed ankle, and the foot armor, and the toes, and the heel also moves. And then the backpack here with the on the beam sabers can move, and a little bit of ball joints on the thrusters. So it's still a very nicely articulated master grade, especially the legs. I really like how they work. I think the torso is a little hindered, especially around the waist area, but it's still pretty good. Now, the Build Mark II comes with all the accessories from the original. You got the shield in compact mode. You can just pull it down. Oops, and you still have the connector, which you can connect in 2 different positions. And just peg it into the forearm there. You've got a beam rifle, which has a sticker. You can put it down, handle can come out. The ammo clip is removable, and you can actually store 2 of them up here in the shield. And you actually have a peg on either side, so it can be a lefty or a righty, because these are the older style. I don't like calling them older style hands because they're not that old, but they are in comparison to the wing and the 3.0. But it's pretty secure. It could be better. I find these pegs have never been big enough. And you have this little part here, so you can store it on either side skirt because it's on both sides. And you've also got the beam sabers, which are on a hinge, so you can actually unpeg them from the back and bring them down. And they're just normal beam saber handles, and you do have two clear pink beams, so nothing special there. But I've always liked how they're on little hinges. And of course the bazooka, which has a movable handle, not too much, has the same hole on either side, and it also has a removable ammo clip, which you do get one extra one, and it has the same kind of connector as the beam rifle, so you can plug it in and then push down to lock it into the side. And you can have the R2 hold it. It is a little trickier just because of the once again, these pegs are not the best. But it'll work, as you can see. And you have a little sticker there. I like the multicolored pieces on it. And you can store it on the back. Little hook there. Just pegs right in. Or clips in. So you can have all of the normal accessories stored on the Mark II, and I can't forget it also has the earmuffs, or the Vulcans. Little sticker there, movable antenna. It just clips around the side of the head. Little indents there, move it into the head. It's a little tricky to find the sweet spot, but it is there. Well, it does fit, just being a pain in the bum. There we go. Oops. I never had these freaking canisters hold that well. But you can have everything on the Mark II. Although it doesn't use the earmuffs in the anime, like the Build Fighter anime. So let's actually get rid of all these things, and we'll talk about the actual weapon for the Build Gundam Mark II, because these are all from, like I said, the original. And that is the, oopsie, that is the Build Booster Mark II, which is rather large. It is a large booster, and pretty nice looking. I do find these arm pieces come off a little too easy. You have to make sure these two halves are pushed in all the way, so they'll actually slide into that little track and stay. Now you got some stickers. You got the white on the cockpit, little yellow here, here, and here. Stickers, sensors on the side. I believe that's about it. Now you do have a spot for an action base, or you can just bring these parts forward, these parts down, and you can have it kind of like a little walker, which I actually think is kind of neat. Walk around and shoot things. Meet, meet. Now to connect it to the Mark II, well, first things first, we're going to get rid of these. Well, we're going to take them off. And we're going to unplug the actual fighter component. Just put that off to the side for now. And then we can get the arm gauntlets onto the Mark II. Just peg into where the shield would go, like that. Oops. And like that. And then, now, this connector is for basically if you're going to use the G-Defensor, which can still work on this kit because it's the same model. Just unplug that. And then you take, this is on a couple different hinges. You got a ball joint up at the base. You got a swivel right here. Okay, those are going to come off. Hinge, swivel, and that's about it. So you can actually take this connector for the core fighter component, flip it up, and now Let's get that unplugged. And just rotate these kind of out of the way. And now we can connect this into the backpack. Right like that. And just get everything situated. And then, now you can leave these on the back, but they look obviously best on the arms. So you just have to flip out a little peg right here. And just peg it into the holder. Like that. And it does, because these beam rifles can come out, and the little handle here kind of fits right into this hole at the rest like that. And if you push a little forward, it locks it in place. So you got that one. And same thing over here. And there is the Bill Gundam Mark II all assembled. With the booster and everything. And this is how it is in the anime. And I gotta say, it looks pretty good. And it's not really back heavy. The feet are pretty good size on the Mark II, so it does pretty much support the weight. Oh, and another sticker back there. Now to unpeg the actual beam rifles from the mounting unit, just untab it here at the bottom, and then you want to make sure you get it off the gauntlet here, and then you can push forward, and then pull out. And then this little tab just kind of pegs up here to kind of clean up the look. You can push that back down, clips rather nicely into place. And then we have the beam rifle, with just like the actual beam rifle the original came with, you got a little scope with a sticker. And it actually, this is really cool, I didn't know this, but it uses the exact same ammo clip that the original beam rifle used, just kind of upside down and backwards. So if you want, you can take it out. I thought that was really cool, because it does come with 2 extra ones that you would put on the shield. But now, they go on here. And it does look a lot like the actual beam rifle, at least the handle you can see. It's very similar. Which I thought was neat. So it does look like, say, pretty much just took the original, like got 2 of them, and modified them. So it's kind of cool. Although I do find it's a little hard to get them to stay pegged into the hand because of the longer back, and it is a little weightier. So it's a little harder to get it to securely peg into the hand. You can do it, as you can see, but I find you can't lift his arm, like his wrist is kind of stuck here because it weighs it down. So you can work with it. You can have it, like, see, you can't really bend it too far because it starts hitting, so you kind of have to have it at a little bit of an angle to pull it off. But I'd rather have it attached to the arm. I think it looks a lot better like that. But that's just me. So that is almost it. But they do give you something else. Well, actually, they give you 2 different things. First off, they do give you another adapter set for the other Gundams, like the Wing Gundam, the X, the Astray, if you want to connect the backpack to that. But they actually give you another extra piece, and that is the adapter for the actual build strike. Alright, so let's get the build strike in here. And just get the backpack off. And this, you have to actually flip the peg back down. And just take this one, and peg it in like that. And then peg it into the back. And this basically replicates the scene from the final episode of the anime, when it actually used the Mark II backpack. I thought that was a nice touch, because it is specifically separate from the extra little plate I showed. So I thought it was cool. And one more thing before I forget, because I almost did. And I feel people like me probably made this happen. And it's probably why it happened. I'm not saying I did it specifically, but people complaining like myself. Because, you got this thing flying around doing nothing. You can do whatever just leave it. But it's always off to the side. But they did something with it, and it's kind of funny. So you just fold it up like that. And you have this kind of groove piece here. And you've also got this little detail right here at the top. You can do that. You can have that sitting on the top. Now this does make everything pretty much can be on the kit, because you can have both of these new beam rifles on the wrist. You can have them holding or storing the beam rifle here, the extra ammo clip, the shield. Well, not so much the shield. The bazooka could be technically on the back. And then you got this thing. It's just a place for it to go. It really didn't need to do that. It looks really weird and out of place. But I do know why they did it. Some people are like, well, where do I do with this? It's just floating off to the side. I do appreciate it, and I do know why they did it. And I feel I might have had a hand in it. But it's funny. So those are the accessories. I like all of them. Like I said, I wish these held a little bit. It's just because of how they're designed. They're a little too long, a little too heavy. But that's only in the hand. I would much rather have them on the actual wrist. I think they work a lot better here than holding it. So, the accessories are really, really good. I like them. Well, since I just had them up here, here is the Build Gundam with the Build Gundam Mark II. As you can see, Mark II is a lot chunkier. It's from a different time, a different era of Gundam. Obviously, this is the Strike, and this is the Mark II. 2000s. What is it? Early 80s? So yeah, it makes sense. And because I do have it, the original Mark II 2.0. And as you can see, the blue is more of a navy blue here. Then this is more of a true blue. Other than that, it's... I think the off-white's still a little off. It might be a little more white on the new one. Oh, and the gray is actually different. You can see this is more of a normal gray, where the normal Mark II is more of a bluish gray. So, yeah. And actually, even the beam rifle, where this one matches the body, this one doesn't. So, other than the few new pieces and the colors, it's the same kit with a new backpack. And yes, like I said, you can use the G Defensor on the backpack if you want. You can't multiply, like you can't go G Defensor and Build Booster. As far as I know anyways, you can't really do that. But if you want them to have the Build Booster, you can, or the G Defensor instead of the booster, you can do it. So I really do like this. I really wasn't looking forward to it that much because it is just the Mark II with some different parts, but I really like the booster. I always have. And it does have a few new pieces that do make it a little different from the original. So, especially if you don't have the original, this is a good pickup. And even if you do, well, it doesn't do anything wrong, so it is a good kit. So that's about it, and I'll see you at the next review.